Elon Musk finds out his driver is homeless. What he does next will melt your heart. It was late in the evening and Elon had just finished a long day of meetings. His driver, Mark, waited patiently by the sleek black Tesla, ready to take him to his next destination. He was polite, professional, and spoke only when spoken to, just like any other driver Elon had hired. As the car moved through the quiet streets, Elon struck up a casual conversation. "How long have you been driving?" he asked. Mark hesitated before answering. "A few months," he said, his voice steady but reserved. Elon asked another question. "Where do you live?" And this time, Mark's grip on the steering wheel tightened. "Oh, here and there," he replied vaguely. Something about the way he said it made Elon pause. It was an answer that hid more than it revealed, and in that moment, he knew something wasn't right. Elon sat in the back seat, watching Mark closely. That vague answer wasn't just casual avoidance, it was something deeper. Elon had met enough people in his life to recognize when someone was holding something back. When they arrived at his destination, Elon didn't step out right away. Instead, he looked at Mark and asked softly, "You don't have a place to live, do you?" Mark's hands tightened on the wheel. For a moment, he said nothing. Then, with a sigh, he finally admitted the truth. "I've been living out of my car for the past few months." Elon felt a wave of disbelief. This man, who had driven him safely, who showed up on time and did his job well, had no home to go back to. Mark continued, his voice quiet. "I lost my apartment when rent went up. Couldn't keep up with the bills. Been picking up driving jobs trying to save, but it's not enough." Despite his situation, Mark never asked for help, never complained. He just kept moving forward, doing what he had to do. Elon sat back, staring out the window. He had once struggled himself, sleeping in his office while building his companies. He understood hardship, but now he had the power to change someone else's fate. And at that moment, he made a decision. He wasn't going to let Mark keep living like this. Elon sat in silence for a moment, letting Mark's words settle. This man had been driving him around, making sure he got to where he needed to be, while having nowhere to go himself. It didn't sit right. He leaned forward. "Why didn't you tell anyone?" he asked. Mark let out a small chuckle, shaking his head. "And say what?" "Hey, I'm your driver, but I sleep in my car at night. People don't care. They just want their ride." Elon frowned. That wasn't true. He cared. He pulled out his phone and typed something quickly. This wasn't going to be a simple act of charity. He wanted to know more about Mark, his skills, his dreams, what he wanted to do if life had given him a fair shot. "Mark," Elon said, locking eyes with him through the rearview mirror. "What do you want to do? If you could have any job, what would it be?" Mark hesitated. No one had asked him that in years. Finally, he shrugged. "I've always been good with my hands. Fixing things, mechanics, engineering. But those jobs need degrees, training. Stuff I don't have." Elon smiled slightly. "Not always." That night, as the car pulled away, Elon stayed awake, thinking. He wasn't going to let this story end like so many others. He had an idea, a big one. And tomorrow, Mark's life would change forever. The next morning, Mark woke up in the front seat of his car, stiff from another night of uncomfortable sleep. He rubbed his eyes, stretched his arms, and prepared for another long day of driving. He had no idea that his life was about to change. Just as he was about to start his shift, his phone buzzed. An unknown number. He hesitated before answering. "Mark, it's Elon." Mark sat up straighter. Elon Musk was calling him? "Meet me at this address," Elon continued. "I have something for you." Confused but intrigued, Mark followed the GPS to a sleek high-rise in downtown Los Angeles. When he arrived, Elon was waiting for him at the entrance, a knowing smile on his face. "Come inside," Elon said. Mark followed, his heart pounding. Inside, Elon handed him an envelope. "This," he said, "is a 6-month lease, fully paid. No more sleeping in your car." Mark's hands trembled as he opened it. It was real. A fully furnished apartment, his own space, a place to call home. Tears welled in his eyes. "Elon, I can't accept this. It's too much." Elon shook his head. "It's not charity. It's an investment. And this," he handed Mark another envelope, "is your job offer." Mark blinked. "Job?" Elon nodded. "You said you were good with your hands. I have a place for you in one of my companies, training included. If you want it, it's yours." Mark was speechless. Just 24 hours ago, he was a struggling driver, barely getting by. Now he had a home, a future, a real chance. Elon clapped him on the shoulder. "You helped me get where I needed to go. Now it's my turn to help you." Mark gripped the envelope tightly. For the first time in a long time, he felt something he thought he had lost. Hope. Mark's hands still shook as he held the job offer. It didn't feel real. Just yesterday, he was living in his car, unsure of how long he could keep going. Now he had a home, a career, a future. Someone nearby had taken a photo. Mark, standing beside Elon Musk, his face frozen in disbelief. Within hours, the story made its way onto social media. A simple caption, "Elon Musk just changed this man's life." The internet exploded. Millions of people shared the story, praising both Elon's generosity and Mark's resilience. News outlets picked it up. "Billionaire rewards hard-working driver with life-changing opportunity," the headlines read. Some people were inspired. Others questioned why it took someone like Elon Musk to make a difference. But the most powerful impact came from ordinary people. Inspired by the story, strangers started helping struggling workers in their own communities. Some paid for hotel rooms for the homeless. Others helped find jobs for those who'd been overlooked. Mark's journey had sparked something bigger than himself. It wasn't just about one man getting a second chance. It was about proving that small acts of kindness could ripple outward, creating something truly life-changing. And for the first time in his life, Mark realized that his story wasn't just about survival anymore. It was about hope and the power of being seen. Every day, we pass by people like Mark, hard-working, struggling, invisible. We don't stop to ask their stories, to see the battles they're quietly fighting. But Elon Musk did. He paid attention, and that made all the difference. This wasn't about wealth. It was about recognizing someone's worth, about giving a chance, not just charity. Mark's life changed because one person cared enough to look closer. And maybe that's the lesson. Kindness isn't just about giving, it's about noticing. Because sometimes the person who helps you get where you need to go is the one who needs help the most. If this story inspired you, like, share, and subscribe for more powerful real-life stories. Would you stop to help someone in need? Comment below. We'd love to hear your